Hello there, and welcome to the Juxia Jungle Tour. Now you may be wondering, what on earth is a Juxia? Well, don't worry, I was wondering exactly the same thing. I have never seen these animals before until I started playing this game. This game actually introduced me to these animals, and here they are. You can see them in the distance. Oh, look at this one here having a lie down, rolling around in the sand there, having a sand bath. And this other one here, I think that's the male actually. So yes, what are these creatures? Well, they are actually close relatives of the Paraceratherium, which is on this game. You have 3 different skins to choose from, 3 different species, and this is the smallest one, so they're a lot smaller than their giant cousins that are a lot more well known. But they're also closely related to the modern day rhinoceros, so they're still relatives of this creature alive today. And you can just see another one there walking in the distance. So now that we've told you what these animals are, let's take you on a tour around their habitat. So we won't start off this way, we'll come round this way in a bit. We'll start off going across the bridge here. So without further ado, let's begin. So we cross over the bridge, and here we have this lovely little waterfall, nice bubbling stream below us, and this is basically to stop the Juxia from getting out of their enclosure. This is a barrier, a natural barrier to stop them from getting out over here. So that's a nice little way, rather than just putting in a fence. I think it looks a lot better. And if we carry on down here through the trees, look at that for a view. Wow, beautiful, absolutely wonderful. Oh, and I've just noticed our very first mistake. Oh dear. Apologies about that. It seems that we have forgotten to put in the railings, so the guests can just fall off the edge here and wander into the jungle habitat. Oh no. One second, let me just fix that. It's okay, panic over. We have sorted out the fencing. We've got the railings in, so no guests managed to fall off into the enclosure, or the Juxia managed to escape either, so we're all right, we're all good. Let's continue with our tour. Or should I change the name to an inspection instead, to see if the park is actually suitable to open? So here we have on our left a lovely stream where the dirty water is flowing out, and at the other end of the pond they have to drink from, we have some fresh water coming in, so we don't have dirty stagnant water for the Juxia to drink from. We don't want that. And as you turn around here, we are greeted with this lovely little jungle hut, a nice little hide. So we can go up this curved path and walk in through the opening, and here, oh look at that, wow, marvellous, they're already here. We have this nice glass panels where the guests can get a lovely view of the animals. We put some fruit down here for them to try and attract them over, and you can see we've got a nice open clearing here in the jungle, so the guests can actually get to see them. If this was all jungle, they may not be able to get a glimpse of the animal, so that's why we've just made this area a bit more open. And you can see their shelter there in the distance, where they can sleep at night, or even possibly go in there to cool off during the hot day. But they also have this nice umbrella, this wooden umbrella here, just to get in the shade a bit if they need to, if it gets a little bit hot for them. So lovely, lovely stuff. And behind us we have some benches just to relax. Some signs with information, because probably not a lot of people know about this creature. This is not a very well-known creature actually. It's not like the classics, you know, that are on the game, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Triceratops and things like that. But I do think that it is good that they're putting in animals that we wouldn't normally see, because it just brings them out into the light a bit, you know, and we can learn more things about these new creatures. So they've got all this here, all this foliage to roam about in and forage for food. And here, I know this isn't part of the exhibit, but I think it just immerses you into the jungle a little bit more, you know, having a lake and all the lilies and a few swamp trees there. I think it looks rather nice. And when we turn to the right here, we have another opening here where we can get a nice view of the enclosure, and you can see one of them over there in the distance. Let's bring one over just to get an idea. And I think they would yes, they definitely would be able to get their head over, but they may be like horses, you know, they're about the size of a horse. They may be quite friendly. They might even like to be patted down and be stroked by the guests. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they don't bite anybody. But yeah, and we don't know if these creatures were social beings living in herds or solitary. I think they've only found a few skeletons, a few fossils, so scientists are a little bit unsure. But this enclosure is so large, I thought it's a bit too big for just 2. So I thought, do you know what, I'll get 4 in. You probably could have more, you know, but you know, they've been spoilt. All 4 of them have got this giant enclosure to roam about in. And now, as we turn around, you can see we've come to the shelter. But before you go in, you might want to quench your thirst. We have some vending machines here that you can get a drink from, or maybe a snack to keep you going for your jungle trek. And we also have some bathrooms if you need to use the bathroom on your journey. We don't want you having to trek all the way back to the main entrance. Oh, look at that one there, just a glimpse of him through the bushes. Beautiful. Anyway, let's go into the shelter and get a nice look inside. Here we are. So, oops, do apologise about that, my shoddy camera work. So here we have some panels at the back with some trees on, just to make it look a little less bland. You see this sometimes in zoos and things like that, rather than just being a blank wall. And this is where the Juxia can come and rest at night. We've put some hay down just to give them a bit of comfort, and they can all huddle together here, or maybe not, maybe it'll be a bit too warm, or possibly maybe the temperature may drop at night, so they might need to cuddle up for a bit of warmth and keep each other warm. And here you can see we've just put some frozen vegetables. Actually, I think it might be fruit actually. Yes, I think it is. Looks like some bananas and some apples, and they possibly, I think they're chunks of maybe pineapple or something. So we've just put that in so that they can cool off. They can have a lick on the ice there and cool themselves down in this intense, humid jungle heat. And you may notice that there is some gaps in the rope here. And what I was thinking is, what would be a good idea is we could close this off in the day so that they're not always coming in here. The keepers can come in and clean it out, and then maybe once or twice a day the guests could sit down here. A keeper comes in and says, would you like to feed the animals? And the guests can come up, maybe get a handful of food, put the hands through the gaps here and feed the Juxia. And well, we wouldn't want to do that too often because we don't want to overfeed them, but maybe once or twice a day we could do that, just a handful of food, just to get the guests to interact and get a close up and personal with the animals. So I think that might be a nice little touch. So yes, in fact, let me just grab one of them so you can get an idea of how it would look inside. Oh, not on the roof. No, you're not going there. Oh, it won't let me put her down. That's oh dear. Oh well, you can get an idea of how he looks inside there. Or is this the female? I'm not sure. But yeah, plenty of space for all four of them in here. I'll just pop you back outside there. Thank you. Ah, yes, it is one of the females. And over here you can see a door, and this is where the keepers can come. That's their access to get into the shelter. So round the corner here you can see this is where all the keepers' equipment is. Not much equipment. Maybe I should put a bit more for them actually. Maybe a shovel to pick up all the waste and everything into the wheelbarrow. But we've got a hose for them so they can hose it all down, and a brush to brush up all the dirty bedding and put some fresh bedding in for them. And I would imagine that these doors can just slide open, so they can slide in and come through here, and then slide this one open to get into the actual exhibit. So what we could do is, when they're in here asleep at night and these doors are closed, the keepers could grab the food and come out, and they could fill up the fruit pile here for them, or they could go around and just hide the food, maybe put it underneath this log, or maybe put it high up in some trees for them to, you know, use their long necks. That's what they're for, you know, to forage high in the treetops, so that the keepers can go all around this enclosure and just, you know, hide food for them, so they're a bit more stimulated. You know, they have to try and find their food. But we've also put in some termite mounds. I don't know if they would have eaten termites, but they possibly, you know, given the chance, they probably would. And that's a bit more stimulation as well, just giving them something to do. And they probably have long tongues like giraffes do, and they could just stick the tongs in here and get the termites out. So lovely. Anyway, let's go on with the tour. So where were we? We were inside the shelter, so let's go back in here. And we go out, a few more signs with information. And as we come out, we have jungle on the left, and we have jungle on the right. So we're really trying to immerse the guests into the enclosure. And you can see there, that is a section where they can walk up to their upper enclosure where there's more jungle habitat for them. And here's just some rocks that are stopping them from getting up here, so they have to walk round and go up there to get to their more foresty area. And we now have to walk up this steep path leading us up to the more jungle habitat. So you can see here it's completely booming with plants, loads of trees, loads of different vegetation growing here. Really immersed in the forest here. There's just plants all over the place, and that's the kind of environment that they would have lived in. They lived in China, in dense, lush tropical rainforest, so I think this habitat is perfect for them. And now we are greeted by a lovely water fountain. So this fountain is just some waterfalls just put together, and this was a statue where an Edmontosaurus once was, and we've just got rid of him and just replaced it with a nice water feature. Maybe throw a penny in and make a wish that one day they actually do bring these animals back. And you can sit back here in the shade underneath these lovely canopies, these nice shaded areas, and just relax. Maybe go and have a drink or a snack, and some more toilets, just so you don't have to go trekking back. And over here we have a nice dead tree. for maybe some woodpeckers to make a nice home out of. Lovely. You can just see how dense it is here. I love it. Looks great. Oh, and here we have a cave. And this was something that I wasn't planning on doing, but when I made the rocks into a nice formation and I was about to put one down, I noticed it made a nice archway, and I thought I cannot resist or miss this chance to it looked that good. I thought I'm going to use that to make it into a cave. So yeah, once you're in the cave, you'll notice this. Now this is a salt lick. Now you find these in many different jungles. Many different animals go to them, and what they are is just deposits of minerals in clay. I've seen elephants before doing this. They come up to these deposits and they stick their trunks in the water, blow bubbles and get all the minerals up, and then suck the minerals through their trunk and then feed them through their mouth. And other animals do it too. Some monkeys have come down from the forest and they come down to get a lick, and also some parrots, and I think wild boar as well. So in fact, I'm just going to grab one of the animals. Let's bring, I think that's the male. Yes, you can tell the male's a little bit redder. He looks a bit redder and a bit bigger. So we'll bring him over here. So he's got his nice salt lick. Oops, there we go. And the guests can just sit back here and just enjoy the view. And what I've done is just put a bit of ivy down growing to give him a bit more privacy, so he doesn't feel like he's being watched too much. Oh, I think he's going to have a... Is he? I think he's going to have a lick. Yes, he is. So these minerals in these salt licks are basically, the animals do this. They come to them to make up for any minerals that may be lacking in with the the vegetation that they're eating. Maybe there's a certain thing they're missing, so they can come to these salt licks to replenish those minerals. Just take that off there. And he's had his drink, and now off he goes. And there's also a little spy hole through here where you can just spy on him without him even knowing you're there. Lovely. Okay, so let's move on. So we go through this narrow cave system, and now we're coming to the end of the cave. We're coming out now back into the jungle habitat. Oh, and there he is there. Look at that. Wow, what a beautiful view. Look at this, it's so lush. I love it. I love the way this habitat looks. Oh, he's having a little lie down. So let's move on. You can see here this nice little viewing platform in the trees. So we go up the stairs, and here we can get a nice view of the entire enclosure. So you can look at all the vegetation area here, or you can come round and get a nice view of the entire open area of the enclosure. Look at that, wow. So you can poke your head out here and get a nice view. Beautiful. And up here you might see some more wildlife, because up in the canopy of rainforest you get lots of different creatures, many different types of tropical birds, maybe some reptiles, lizards and snakes and things. Oh, and you can just peek over there into the lake. And we come down now, and we're coming to the end now of the enclosure. After all that trekking, you're probably exhausted and ready for a sit down. So we come to the bridge now. There's the lovely pond, and to your left here you can see this is where the fresh water's coming in, but we've put in a dead tree that's fell down, and this is to stop the Juxia from escaping out this end. So we've got the waterfall on one end, and on this end we have this dead tree and some rocks underneath, so we can't get underneath Well, that's what we're hoping anyway. Hopefully they don't climb over maybe on this section here, but I think they wouldn't want to leave because look at how lovely this enclosure is. I think they'd be rather happy here. And here we've just got some viewing platforms for the guests to stay in the shade while they may stand here with their binoculars and get a good view of the creatures while they're on their sandy bank here. And we also have another one here, and behind you we have this lovely restaurant. After all that trekking, you've probably built up an appetite and you're probably absolutely starving, so you're going to come in here and you're going to order your food, and you can sit inside in the nice air conditioning, cool off, or you can go outside in the sun and catch a bit of a tan on these benches outside. So it's up to you. So there you have it, the Juxia Jungle Tour. I hope you enjoyed the exhibit. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you want to watch the build as well, I'll leave a link on the end of the video so you can go and watch the full speed build there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and if you could please just leave me a like and a comment below. If there's any other builds you'd like to see or any ideas, just leave that down below and let me know what you'd like to see. So there you have it. What I'll do is I'll finish off with a few shots of the Juxia enjoying their new enclosure, some cinematic shots, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.